Have you ever had someone look right at you, but forget who you are? It's strange, isn't it, how just one forgotten name can make your heart sink a little, like you suddenly disappeared from the world. But what if that moment, that tiny, awkward silence, wasn't a sign of being unseen, but a doorway to something deeper? A lesson about how connection really works between people. Stay with me, because what happens next in When You Forgot My Name might change the way you see small moments forever. The coffee shop morning. Copenhagen wakes up slowly, like a sleepy cat stretching beneath the pale winter light. You can almost hear the city sigh as people step into cafes, seeking warmth, caffeine, and a small sense of belonging. In one cozy corner cafe near Norrport station, a young woman named Anna begins her morning ritual. Every day, at the exact same time, she orders the same drink, a flat white with a little cinnamon on top. She doesn't talk much, but she always smiles at the barista, a tall guy with curly hair named Jonas. He's the kind of person who remembers everything, your drink, your mood, even your dog's name. Every morning, when Anna walks in, he greets her cheerfully, "Good morning, Anna." The usual. And that small moment, just hearing her name, somehow makes the world feel a little less cold, but today, the rhythm feels off. The cafe door swings open, the bell rings, and Anna steps in, scarf tight, cheeks red from the wind. She smiles, expecting the usual greeting. But Jonas looks up, hesitates, and simply says, "Hi there, what can I get for you?" It's a small thing. A single missing word, her name, yet it changes everything. For a split second, Anna freezes. Did he forget? Maybe he's tired. Maybe he's busy. Or maybe, and this thought hurts more than she wants to admit, maybe she never mattered as much as she thought. You know that feeling, right? When someone forgets your name, and it's not just about memory, it's about meaning. It's like being gently erased from someone's world. She forces a smile and orders her drink as usual. But this time, the cinnamon feels a little bitter. She sits by the window, watching the snow begin to fall outside. Copenhagen looks quiet, almost timeless. And in that silence, Anna starts to wonder, why does such a small thing, just a name, carry so much weight? The familiar stranger. There's something haunting about familiarity that suddenly turns strange. The face you see every morning, the rhythm you expect, and then one day, it slips. That's what happens to Anna as she sits there, holding her warm cup but feeling oddly cold inside. Jonas, the barista who used to greet her by name, now treats her like any other customer. That he smiles politely, his tone professional, but there's no spark of recognition. Not a flicker of, "Oh, it's you again." Just surface-level kindness, the kind that feels practiced. Anna watches him move behind the counter, quick, efficient, pouring milk into cups, steaming foam, as if the two of them never shared a single familiar morning. She wonders if he's pretending, or if he really doesn't remember her. Maybe she overestimated their connection. Maybe he never actually knew her name. Maybe he just read it off her cup one day and kept repeating it. Funny, isn't it? How we build tiny attachments out of repetition. You hear someone say your name every day, and suddenly, you feel seen. You think there's a bond. But sometimes it's just a habit, a script people follow to make life smoother. Still, deep down, Anna can't shake the feeling that something's off. That maybe this isn't just about forgetfulness. There's a strange look in Jonas's eyes, not indifference, but hesitation. Like he's trying to remember, but can't quite reach it. Maybe he's distracted. Maybe something's wrong in his own life. A breakup, a bad day, a foggy morning where even names fade away. And that's the thing about being human. We're all carrying invisible noise inside our heads. Sometimes, the world outside gets blurry because the storm inside is too loud. Anna sighs, watching him. She tells herself not to take it personally. But her heart whispers otherwise. Because no matter how rational you are, it always hurts a little when someone forgets your name, especially someone who used to remember it so well. She glances at the door, tempted to leave early. But something keeps her seated, maybe curiosity, maybe pride, maybe the quiet hope that he'll remember before she walks away. That awkward pause. There's a kind of silence that feels heavier than words, the kind that hums between two people who both know something is off but pretend it's not. That's the silence sitting between Anna and Jonas now. When he hands her the cup, their fingers brush for a moment. Once upon a time, that tiny contact would have felt warm, friendly, maybe even comforting. But today, it's awkward. He looks at her with a polite half-smile, the kind you give a stranger. Have a good day, he says. She forces a smile. You too. And that's it. No, Anna. No warmth. Just air. Empty, clumsy air. Anna walks back to her seat, and suddenly the coffee shop feels louder. The hiss of milk steam, the chatter, the clinking of cups. Everything is happening as usual, yet nothing feels the same. Her name, 2 simple syllables, used to anchor her mornings. Without it, she feels adrift. You might think she's overreacting. But think about it, names are tiny mirrors. They reflect who we are in someone else's world. When someone remembers your name, it's like they're saying, you exist to me. And when they forget, even by accident, it feels like a piece of you disappears. Anna stirs her coffee, pretending to read a book, but her eyes keep drifting to the counter. Jonas moves like nothing happened. Maybe for him, nothing did. Maybe names are just data, forgettable, replaceable, not worth this emotional storm. But then again, maybe it's not about the name at all. Maybe it's about how we attach meaning to every little thing, a word, a smile, a greeting. Because deep down, we're desperate for connection. She laughs quietly to herself, the kind of laugh that hurts a little. This is ridiculous, she whispers. It's just a name. Still, that empty space, where her name used to live, keeps echoing in her mind, and somewhere in that echo, she starts to wonder, what makes us remember each other in the first place? The power of names. Names are strange little things, aren't they? Just a few sounds, a handful of letters, yet they can make your chest warm or your stomach drop. Psychologists say that hearing your own name activates the same pleasure center in your brain as chocolate or a hug. That's right, your brain literally lights up when someone calls you by name. It's not vanity. It's wiring. When you hear your name, your brain says, that's me. I exist. Someone sees me. Anna sits by the fogged-up window, tracing circles on the glass. Her thoughts drift back to when Jonas first remembered her name. It wasn't dramatic, just an ordinary morning. But somehow, the moment he said, "Good morning, Anna," it felt personal. Safe. As if in a crowded world full of strangers, someone had quietly chosen to notice her. That's the real magic of names. They're not just identifiers, they're invitations. They say, "You matter enough for me to remember." But now, as Jonas moves behind the counter serving others, Anna wonders if that sense of being seen was ever real. Maybe she'd built a connection in her own mind, a story shaped out of repetition. Because humans are story builders by nature. We take small gestures and weave them into meaning, even when none was intended. Still, there's something beautiful and fragile about that. Because meaning is what makes ordinary life sparkle. A simple greeting, a remembered name, a familiar face. It's what keeps the loneliness from swallowing us whole. Anna lifts her cup and takes a slow sip. The coffee's gone lukewarm, but the flavor lingers, cinnamon and quiet reflection. She watches the people passing outside, students, tourists, old couples holding hands, and realizes everyone out there carries a name, a story, a desire to be remembered, and maybe, she thinks, the real pain isn't that Jonas forgot her name, maybe it's that, deep down, she's terrified of being forgettable. A lesson in humility. Anna leans back in her chair, letting the thoughts sink in. Maybe it's not about him forgetting. Maybe it's about how much she needed to be remembered. That realization stings a little, but it also softens her. Because if she's honest, she's forgotten people too, names, faces, even small kindnesses that once meant something. She remembers a woman she used to work with, kind, quiet, always brought homemade pastries on Fridays. Anna can still taste the cinnamon rolls, but her mind draws a blank when she tries to recall the woman's name. It's funny how quickly affection can fade into background noise once life moves on. So maybe Jonas isn't careless. Maybe he's just human. And maybe she's learning a small but necessary lesson, that being forgotten isn't always a reflection of your worth, but a reminder of how fragile memory really is. It's humbling, isn't it? We walk through life thinking we leave deep footprints everywhere we go. But most of the time, they're just impressions in soft snow, beautiful, temporary, easily covered by the next storm. Anna smiles faintly, watching her reflection in the cafe window. She feels a flicker of compassion, not just for Jonas, but for herself. Because expecting people to always remember, always notice, always care exactly the way we want them to, that's a recipe for quiet disappointment. Sometimes, connection isn't about being remembered. It's about being present, right now, in this moment. Even if it's imperfect, even if it's fleeting. She glances at Jonas again. He's laughing with another customer, but there's no bitterness in her chest this time. Just a kind of gentle acceptance. Maybe tomorrow, he'll remember her name again. Maybe not, but either way, she'll still smile, still order her coffee, still be part of this little ritual of human chaos and kindness, and maybe, just maybe, that's enough. The small talk that healed. A few minutes later, Jonas walks over to clear the table beside Anna's. He looks up, catches her gaze, and smiles. That same easy grin that first made the cafe feel like a warm place in a cold city, cold morning. Huh? He says, setting down a tray. Anna chuckles softly. Colder than usual. Even the coffee can't keep up. He laughs, a small, genuine sound. You're right about that. I think the weather's trying to freeze the whole city. Something in his voice feels lighter, unguarded. The awkward air from earlier seems to melt, little by little, like frost on the window. They start talking, not about names, not about memory, but about silly things. How Danes bike even in snowstorms, how cinnamon rolls taste better when you're heartbroken, how mornings always seem longer when you didn't sleep well. It's small talk, ordinary and unimportant, yet somehow, it feels healing. Anna realizes that the warmth she'd missed wasn't tied to a word, not even her name. It was tied to this, the easy flow of conversation, the comfort of being listened to, the simple rhythm of two people being human together. Jonas suddenly frowns, as if a thought flickers back into place. Wait, he says, squinting. It's Anna, right? Her heart jumps a little, then she smiles. Yeah. It's Anna. He grins, almost embarrassed. I knew it. Sorry, my brain's been on autopilot all morning. Late night, too much coffee, not enough sleep. She laughs, shaking her head. Don't worry about it. Happens to the best of us. And just like that, the tension dissolves. The moment that started as a tiny heartbreak ends as something softer, almost funny. Sometimes, healing doesn't arrive with grand apologies or perfect timing. Sometimes, it just sneaks in through a shared laugh over burnt coffee and Danish weather. Anna takes one last sip, smiles at Jonas, and thinks, maybe being remembered isn't what matters most. Maybe being understood is. Understanding through mistakes. There's something quietly beautiful about mistakes, the small ones, the human ones, that remind us we're all just trying to find our way through the fog of everyday life. Jonas forgetting Anna's name had felt like a wound that morning. But now, sitting there with the last of her coffee, Anna sees it differently. Maybe the things that hurt us most aren't meant to break us. Maybe they're meant to open us, because in that tiny awkward moment, the forgetting, the hesitation, the apology, there was truth. The kind of truth that only shows up when people stop pretending to be perfect. Jonas didn't mean to hurt her. He didn't forget out of carelessness. He forgot because he's human, tired, distracted, maybe overwhelmed. And isn't that what connects us all? The fact that we're messy, flawed, forgetful creatures who still try our best to care. Anna thinks about how often she's made small mistakes, sending the wrong text, saying the wrong word, forgetting to ask how someone's doing, and how, somehow, life keeps forgiving her. The people who matter don't expect her to be flawless. They just want her to show up, real, imperfect, present. That's when it hits her. Connection isn't built on flawless memories. It's built on gentle understanding. Maybe that's why mistakes feel so raw. Because they force us to see the tenderness in others. When someone forgets your name and then tries to make it right, they're not just remembering you again. They're choosing to care, despite the imperfection. Jonas catches her gaze again from behind the counter and raises his hand in a small, friendly wave. Anna waves back, a tiny smile tugging at her lips that it's no longer about the name. It's about the effort. The choice. The shared humanness in their imperfection, and that, she realizes, might be what makes people truly unforgettable. The real connection. The cafe grows quieter as the morning rush fades. Outside, the snow drifts lazily past the window, soft, unhurried, like a city learning to breathe again. Anna sits there for a while, not because she needs more coffee, but because she wants to linger in this small, unexpected calm. She watches Jonas wipe the counter, humming a tune she can't quite place. Every now and then, he glances up and smiles, not out of obligation, not because of routine, but because it's genuine. Simple. Real, and that's when Anna understands. Connection isn't measured by perfect memory, by always getting the name right, or by constant attention. It's measured by presence, by the quiet, unspoken moments when someone chooses to notice you, even briefly, even imperfectly. She finishes her drink, pulls on her coat, and walks up to the counter. "Thanks for the coffee, Jonas," she says. That he nods, that easy grin returning. "See you tomorrow, Anna." The way he says her name this time, not rehearsed, not mechanical, makes her smile wider than she expected. On her walk home through the snowy streets of Copenhagen, she thinks about how fragile but beautiful human connection really is. We forget, we remember, we mess up, we try again. Maybe that's what keeps the world turning, not perfection, but persistence. Not flawless memory, but the willingness to reconnect, because in the end, love, kindness, and understanding don't always begin with remembering someone's name. They begin with remembering to care, and as Anna disappears into the soft white morning, one thought lingers in her mind. Maybe being forgotten isn't the worst thing. Maybe not giving up on each other, even after we forget, is what truly matters.